Guys, fish already know when I turn off the pumps, it's feeding time. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna feed my fish first, and then I'm gonna feed my corals. So check out this video, man. I hope you guys like it. Feeding them first, I always start off with frozen food. So this is I have to say my purple tang is really getting big. He's really growing. Ever since I had him, he's really taken off, and especially the big boy. Scoop. Yep. Next up, I like to give my fish seaweed. See, I'm giving them variety of different foods, so that's what keep my fish healthy. Look at these guys, so they're ready. Now, the key to giving these fish all different types of foods is make sure they finish all the foods they eat before you keep giving them different types of seaweed, different types of pellets. You want to make sure that the food that you put into your reef tank, you want to make sure your fish finish off the food before you keep adding more food to your reef tank. Because if you keep adding more food and your fish hasn't eaten all the food up, it will cause nutrients issues, and that what nobody wants is algae and just high phosphates in your reef tank. So you always want to make sure your fish consume your food before you start giving them all different types of food. So right now, they're good to go. They ate all the seaweed. I gave them frozen food. They ate all that, and the last thing I would like to give them is some pellets. So, you know, one of the pellet foods that my fish love. You gotta see what your fish like. You know, this is probably my favorite right here, New Life Spectrum. Alright, so I'm done feeding my fish. So I make sure these guys are fat and full before I start feeding my coral reef wards, because some of my fish would try to eat some of the coral food, so I always feed them real good before I feed my coral. So next up, I'm gonna feed my coral, show you how I do it and whatnot. Next up, just feeding my corals rod foods. This is the only food I ever use for corals, and it's doing wonders for me. So I'm gonna stick with it. See how the fish are already going after the food. So what I gotta do is I have to kind of push this guy out the way. Gently push my ting out the way so he won't get any of the coral food, you know. Yeah, this dude a little greedy, man, I tell you. He's the only one I have a problem with out of everybody, which is fine, but you know. So, yeah, feeding corals, feeding my fish. I feed my corals like maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks when I can. Slowly. Close-up view. Leave them alone. And that is what I do. Feeding my corals, feeding my fish. That's how I do it, and I'm having success with it. I mean, yeah. So I hope you guys like this video. I see you guys with another great update.